your host, Chocolatenova. Alright, so let's get the fuck into it, right? So we're talking about, oh, excuse my friend, sorry. So what can we talk about today? Imagine just kind of just discuss where we're currently at. Which is basically the demon, the twin demons. Now I've made a speculation about this particular thing involving them, the twin princes. Who else? The other two, forgot their, I don't know. The Rider Knight and the Dancer. What else? We got we got pairs of, I don't know. But as I go through the items and stuff like that and look at certain boss areas, I mean, we can look at bosses right now. Right? Big ups to my daughter opening doors that she knows that she's not supposed to be opening, but she's doing it so that she can see what's inside. She's in discovery mode. And she's like, this fool thinks I don't know. Like, he doesn't even realize what I'm doing. But I do. I see everything that she's doing. And, hi. Yeah. Get out of there. What are you doing in there? There's nothing in there for you. There's nothing to my... Yes, this is just old stuff of, like, not old stuff, but games of old. Games of old. They're just things before your time. That's a better way of saying it. She's gonna be having a blast when she starts to understand video games, because I have all these fun different types of games that just kind of hook me throughout the ages to play. I mean, one of those kids just sit at home and so just absorb the world in a different way, and then you know, get to me. Yeah, games are like books to me, you know, in some ways. It's like, didn't you like coloring books when you were little? You know, but you have something you could just physically interact with. The downside of that is that, you know, you want to be able to develop your mind, where you use your imagination so you can dream, you know. And, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, and that's not to say that kids that don't dream, I mean, kids that don't dream are the ones that play games. I'm not saying that, you know, in my reality is different. You know, I just start to look at the world around me and I go, you know, there are times when if I experience something different than what I'm used to, then I start to look for the factors in my life that, you know, heavily affect us. And, you know, I know games since Nintendo, you know, when I first started playing it, and it was just something that I was always inclined to do. There were times and periods in my life where I wasn't sitting around just playing games. I was outside, I was active, talking with people, and socializing and so forth and so on. And then, you know, just like the seasons come and go, friends move away, things happen, you know, so it's like, you know, you start to have more of a secluded life for yourself. And, I mean, we all tend to kind of do that. Hey, still good, I got to my tea lights. There's nothing but controllers down here, mommy. That's all there is. It's just controllers. What's up? Hey, put it away. Right? I need to switch this out real quick. A new piece needs to be put on that, and she's gonna just keep on. Checking that too.
Let's go talk to Mama.
I'm not even ready. I'm like getting ready. Whatever, right? Alright, I come back using something like Gale's Blade. Slam it down. Let me get down here before homie dies. I just need to be able to roll, man. You know? We are going to start off there, and I hope he can survive. It looks like he's surviving pretty well. It doesn't look like he's in too much pain. So, do I need that? No, that's not what I need. Folks, I'm a little off today. Just a little. Got a lot of things on my mind. Ready when you are. Forgot to do my thing. I told you folks, I am off today. I haven't even set up most of my stuff. Just a little. But I'm on every day. I'm on every day. So I'm gonna try to jump in this. Oh. Why you did all that? You took that stuff out? I mean, okay. I could use the bonbons. I like using them because they look like scepters. You know, I like that. Let's go back to, oh yeah, I have it on television now already. I don't know, I'm like looking at my daughter at the same time. But I would use this because this has bleed damage and I swing faster with it, so. She's in another world right now. She's going through my CDs. You gonna talk into my CDs? Tell you, man, these kids. Anyway, so yeah, so we got sets of 3 or 2. Sets of 2. On each and every single one. You know what? Now that I think about it, guys, after this particular one, I'm going to add my chat to the group. I need to really seclude certain people from it. I gotta like monetize for me keeping it that way. The conversation stays up the flow. There's gonna be people there to talk to. Trust me, please. I'm gonna be able to elaborate, but you know, and I'm gonna give everybody a chance to jump on with me. I don't discriminate on anything. I think when you are putting out certain content, you want to make sure that you people, certain audience. In my groups, I have different groups. You know what I'm saying? We have Rocky, PlayStation. We love all of them. We love Wow, son, you can't get him away from us, bro? What is this other guy doing? Why do we have 3-on-1, bro? Come on, what's going on? Oh, nah, yo, you scared to take on even this type? Unbelievable. Look at this. Nah, bro, get out of here. Then take him on. Take him on, bro. What are you doing, man? God. Like, I can't with this guy. What is he trying to do? Look, what he's doing? He's jumping back and forth between the two. Alright, so then you fight them both, bro. Out of here, dude. I lost so much energy. It's not even funny. Anyway. I'm actually gonna do this. If I didn't do it already, I was gonna take my time. Take my time to do stuff. He actually knocked out my Tears of Denial. Crazy. It's like a waste, bro. Wait, look at him. He's running back and forth. Like, it's ridiculous. And then he comes over to that fight. Like, nah, I'm gonna leave you and let it be. You're not doing a go for service by doing that, bro. And you do something. Carmen. Fight. Yo, fight. Yeah, I hope you take this fucking back, yo. Fight both of them at the same time. Another loving game. I'm not. Yeah. See what happened? Look, you can't do it by himself. You see that? But you want to be showing out when you got like 2 people that's helping you. Like, come on, cut it out, man. Cut it out. Cut it out. Focus on one thing and that's it. You're running back and forth, bringing the demon back over to my side, and then that's causing us to have a much harder job. My daughter has officially pulled out all of my games, trying to pull out everything that she can back there, all so that I can take them all and put them back. Pissing me off. No, nothing. Leave it. No. No. Alright, so I had to go in the take my daughter to her mother. Mother, you know, she's a woman, you know, they have like this perfect timing in which they want to do certain things to you. Be like, yo, man, can I live? You know? Why you messing with me? Just let me be. You know? You know what I am gonna do though? And I might do it tonight. Like I might do it tonight. And it depends on how, I mean, I'm feeling good, you know. But I might go and I might play something like Skyrim, VR edition. You know, Mario Kart. That's for like group events and stuff. Okay, we got Eternity. I have to buy that game. Those are the games that go under the radar. They're so good. You're like, yo, who made this? That's how you get you. That's how you get you. What are they getting you for? Your attention? Perhaps? Who knows? One thing for sure. I cleaned up that entire mess. Now she has enough strength to open things. When she gets older, she realizes what she's done. All the destruction is made. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, yo, man. It's alright. It's okay. I still love you anyway. You know? Let's shed some tears of joy. You know? Anyway. So. Oh, shit. I got summon. I ain't put my summon sign back down. I'm just not feeling something. Real, like, stay on your side. Like, don't do that, man. Guys start doing this, like, you know, I got him. I got his attention. Just keep that one's attention. That's it. That's the whole point of having extra help. Not so that you can bring them together and cause chaos in the fight. Like, I don't need your help over here, man. Go over there. You know, I can understand if I needed help, fine, but don't do that. You know, all I'm gonna do is this. Well, I already do this, you know. I'm gonna do this. Boom. Now I'm glowing. You know what I'm saying? Stamina going up. I mean, my HP's going up. I do extra damage. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Don't worry about me. Look at this. My character is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? We represent that light, you know, that real light. But anyway, and my crew's growing too. You know, that's why I like the people in my chat. You know, all young, older, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You know, I like being able to talk to people of all walks of life. You know, people have their different things that they enjoy in life. Me, I enjoy, you know, learning, and I also enjoy learning from different arrays of people. It's just that some people, you be like, God, how are you tolerant? Or why are you treating me like that? You start to take it personal, you know, and you might as well do so, but it's like, for what, right? Anyway, so look at that. I got magic coming back to me. I'm regenerating. So this is great. You know what I'm saying? I like what my character is becoming, because I'm starting to learn different weapons in this game, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You can't really do, well, I'm not gonna say you can't do much, but what I will say is, you know, you have a limited selection of things in this game, and you wish that they would just kind of just give me another expansion pack to the game. So I don't know, man. Just want more, just like in another expansion pack. Anyway. Pyromancy. You know, just learning different stories. I've been talking to different people about different things. I was just looking at something real quick. Got caught up there in a moment looking at my magic, because, you know, there's like the backstory of things that are in the lore behind the magic as well. You know, that tells you pieces of the story in this game. You know, so, you know, you kind of piece it together. I've so far I've heard some really great stories online. What's going on, guys? I'm live on YouTube, so I might just be talking a little bit. How you guys are doing? And of course, hold on, properly done. Gotta give you the big ups, you know what I'm saying? I gotta come over here and give you the big ups. Yeah, about to have some fun. Oh, going down, it's too late. I should have did it earlier on, but I didn't. Damn. Alright, let's go. About to turn up. I ain't even used my tears of denial yet. This guy's level is pretty deep. So I gotta do my thing. Oh, come on, bro. Go back over there. What happened, bro? What happened to the other guy? You want to kill it last? Go ahead, take that, take that. Come on. Help him out. Let's go. Go. See all different types of things. So just wanted that last hit on it. go. Flow. Let's go with ya. That's a cool name too. I'm glad you got that name, y'all. Real. Get him. Better get him. Better get him. Well, still not hit. Let's go. Boom. Oh, right hit. Turn up the flow. You hear me? Let's turn up the flow. Let's go. Oh my God, man. I just got that back. The money game. You can hold out by yourself, you good. I'll come back into that, but jump off. I mean, it's hard sometimes. You know, jumping into a fight, you might run into something that's coming right at you. You don't even care. You know, sometimes you got to do that jump off like jump rope sometimes. And sometimes you jump in a fight at a moment where you just get hit. Boom. That was me on that one. You can watch my other videos. Mess up. I'll be like, yeah, I messed up. I messed up on that. But sometimes there be some people stop playing, or they're starting to get used to the controls and they're trying to go crazy and do it. I don't know, maybe the way they would normally do it, but it gets them hurt. You know. This fight must have been so crazy. This boss. Nobody's really thinking about it. Nobody's done a video. I know they won't, because I'm gonna be the first to do it. That's why I'm doing these lives. Because soon I'm gonna have these things. I'm gonna just piece, put them all together so that way people can see, who thought of it first. Because they're not talking about it, but I'm gonna talk about it. All right. Look, I said the things that dealt with this boss master came in pairs. Man, they could have just left it where it was just one sign for help that was down for that fight. All right. And yeah, we've had other people that we've had other people in the game that you can summon in that particular area against bosses. And that means that you can summon up to like 4 people to help you out in Cathedral of the Deep. Now, why is that? What am I saying? Why am I saying that? Like, what's the significance? Well, since there's 2 people that you can summon in this particular fight, right? Who's to say that these weren't the 2 that actually went through the storyline? And when I say that, I mean like exactly as it is. Like, who's to say that these two individuals that you summon in this very spot, maybe not. I'm just saying, maybe more so. I don't know. Maybe they're moving along their storyline as as you're going along your storyline, and they just happen to be at these points as well, that they might be stuck at, or maybe a place that they left their chalk down. I don't know how the whole idea works with using the white soapstone sign. We know it's so that we can help others in other worlds when we do that, because everybody in their own dimension or whatever, they're all doing the same thing at the same time. And then you can play with it. You can just kind of put I don't know, maybe it's just time. Let's just say you're moving forward and backwards in time, but that wouldn't even make any sense, right? Because even though time is convoluted in here, as they say, it just doesn't sit right to have all these NPCs, these non-playable characters, be in the game at the same time in which, well, at that point in the story, at that time, when you summon them, they're also on their way doing other things. Did they get past that part? But then you say to yourself, so why is it that I can see what's his name? Who you can summon. Okay, you summon Patches, but you not the Onion Knight, okay? Because he only stole his armor in this spot. So the thief, I forgot his name, but he's here in part 1, and he's a snake. He really is annoying and bad in the game, and he does try to get you stuck a couple times along the way, and I just don't get it. I don't know what is his whole idea, like what's the whole thing with him, but I don't think it goes with the light, with what Gwen has set forth for everybody to kind of just keep the flame going and keep the fire going. Patches doesn't like clerics, so that's healing, that's religious also, right? It's for the light. But his hang-up may not be that he doesn't want the light to be lit. Maybe he just has a personal thing against clerics. For all we know, he could have been a cleric, and they let him go. He took the armor set of the Karim Knight. Not the Karim Knight, the Onion Knight. And took his armor set, which was foul. You had to like buy it back and then give it back to him, and just foul shit in the game. But let's just stick to the story. So, yeah. So, being in this place is pretty crazy, because you don't know. Like if we're all at the Firelink shrine, right? Firelink. Fire is, I guess, the link and also the connection to other realms and other places. Something about this bonfire and these bonfires and their connections to either other worlds, or you would say other worlds, right? Right? When you come in the game of Dark Souls, it's kind of, time is already convoluted, not in the sense of lineal, maybe more or less, but more in a sense, I don't know, just different. Anyway, Patches and Gale Slave Knight is here. Okay? Up here. I believe it's somewhere where you summon him. I don't think I've ever summoned him for this fight. When I have come to this fight, I believe I already had assistance. So I missed out on a lot of signs that were down and using them. It's only now in the game when I go back and I play with my cleric character who I started over with, that I see as I move through the story how people become available to you in certain fights. So as the time moves on and you start to see pieces of Gale everywhere, and just doing stuff like guiding he's moving along in the painted world, and I know this because we see his prints ever since you joined the painted world. You've seen points where he's pointing down at, such as the end of this over here, and just other things. And it's right in the beginning of right at the end of the church. Excuse me, I said the church. Okay, so the painted world. So here's where Gale's world was kind of supposedly at, I guess. But I'm starting to think differently about Gale entirely. Like, how did you make it to our world? You'd have to have had the ability to step outside of the painting. How do any of them find how to get out and where to get in when it comes to the painted world? There was a place to get out of the painted world in part 1, and that was after you spoke with Priscilla. You can go and walk off the cliff and leave the painting. In part 1, there are parts that you get up to, I guess, that kind of pushes you outside of the painting, or you find your way out after you do a particular type of thing. The way they normally got out the painting was jumping off the cliff into nothingness. So it's like, in a way, when I think about it, Priscilla was like gate guarding. Because if she's supposed to be in there and being protected from what's outside or whatever, why wasn't she put outside then to guard people from? Oh no, I'm saying it backwards. So why wasn't she like somewhere else, away from the exit? Why is she at the exit? She wields a scythe, and for all we know, I mean, because we see dead things in there. They're kind of still alive, but other things are just gate guarded inside there. Weird, right? Because that's not the story that they tell us in the lore for, when we watch these videos on YouTube. But look at here. Anywho, let me join. No. Let me leave this. I'm gonna get ready in a group on a voice chat. Anyway, oh shit, somebody summoned me in. I ain't even realize it. Damn, it took this nigga forever to get back. What the fuck? I thought it was over. I thought he must have summoned somebody else and beat it, but oh no. Here we are again. Still trying to beat the twin demons to see if he learned anything. Let's see. No. Let's defeat this. Alright, he's standing back. Letting Gale take the fight. That's crazy. No, you fool. That's alright. Made him mad. Oh. Almost caught me there. Ah, buckaroo. Oh no. Try not to get hit by that. No. Nigga. How did he end up letting the demon come all the way over here, bro? Horrible, bro. This is what I gotta deal with. Why isn't he fighting over there with him, man? Come on, bro. You bringing the demons together, yo. We're gonna get messed up, man. Damn, dude. Oh, damn. We got the picture by now. That. Doing what? Oh man, I messed up, I guess. So let me go at it. We're supposed to both go at it. A great sandworm. Alright, so sorry about that. Alright, I'll slide this down. I think I could just kick it. So right. And just take a seat. Anyway, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the twins, right? And one prince beat the demon princes, or the demon prince. It's the duality. Like, where'd this demon come from? These two, that when one dies, another one inherits its ability more, right? So that fire went even deep. Like, how can I put this? When you beat up and you kill one dragon, the other one, like, it just passes on to the next. And the other dragon, demon, got strong after his brother died. I think he inherited his flame. And, just got stronger on it. You want to fight him. It's like, why is there a demon prince in this hole? The hole itself, I mean, it has a hole in it for you to walk out. But if you look at it, that could have been their prison. What becomes their food is whatever gets dropped down into the hole, perhaps. That area down there, believe it or not, resembles the first Firelink Shrine from part 1. I didn't want to just let that go over my head. We see wells in different places in the Darksoul game. But it correlates far too much with Firelink Shrine in part 1, with the structures that's built around it. And then, of course, there's the well. It's like, that well could have been there on another castle too. But let's not take what we don't have and make sense of it. Let's take what we do have and make sense of it. And that's really how you kind of stay on track with Dark Souls, is that you can get lost just creating your ideas about what happened, which is what we kind of do when we create these thesis to connect the two, perhaps, an idea to fulfill its place. We can tell when an object is transparent, when we see water floating like it's in a glass tube, it takes the form of what's really there. However, I don't want to jump off course. I'm just going to kind of just talk more about the lore and the fact that it was clear evident. The well was probably in the same area exactly where it was in part 1. And what is it doing down there? All those bones piled up and stuff like that. I mean, it should have been one of the main areas that was devastated, because it was right above, right next to, New Londo. So it was destined for it to take place. Right under the Firelink Shrine was chaos you know, right under it, you know, inside the catacombs and all these other different places, and you know, they all revolved around that area. So it's like you can see the chaos going. It's like, yeah, well, we got to keep this fire lit so that we can keep it going. So learning how to deal with the chaos. But you know, anyway, so these twin demons, and they're down there, and then this one individual, let's look through his clothing article for a moment. Let's make this a little less argumentative. Right, let's see. So let's pick up his clothing. So this is just the robe of prayer, which belongs to none other than the Prince Lothric. Okay, we'll read his after we get to his brother, which is Lorien. Okay, armor of the Prince Lothric order. Armor of Prince Lothric's no wonder, older brother, Lorien. So it's his older brother. They're not twins, you know, but they are siblings, right? His black dyed brass armor was passed down to him from the royal family. You know, Lorien, raised as a knight, is said to have been left mute and crippled by his younger brother's curse. It is also said that Lorien, in fact, wished it so. Lorien. So, let's put it on. Let's turn around, let's look at the back. Right, which I did see at one point before. I don't know what the rest of it is at, but I mean, that's all it is. That's all it is to it. Anyway, so getting back to what I was saying about the twins, is that so he goes down there. Lorien decides, oh, you know what? I'm going down there and I'm going to kill the demon prince or whatever. And then he has this blade that is imbued with the in which they were that he was fighting them with. Okay, I don't have the blade with me because I used it to, oh no, I got this one. I got it. Alright, so Ultra Great Sword of Lorien, Prince Lothric's older brother, cast in smolden molten steel and stained black. Okay, before Lorien embraced his brother's curse. He was a knight who single-handedly slayed the demon princess, but the victory eternally scorched his sword with flame. They made it sound like it was bad, you know what I'm saying? But the victory eternally. You know, like, but, it's not a but. It's a but. You know? It should have been end of victory. You know? And that's what kind of gives me like a little drawback, because of the way they word things in this. It makes you want to just think twice about how you're reading a particular thing. Sometimes it's not straightforward. Sometimes it is. But one thing we do know for sure is that he already had slain these demons before having to be cursed by his brother and him wanting it so. Could it be because he didn't want to be a Lord of Cinder? But how is it that you didn't want to be a Lord of Cinder but became so anyway? So what's the whole thing with him not wanting to go to do his task? Well, his brother was influenced, and that's a whole nother story in itself because and I've been talking to people about it, talking to people on my that's in my chat that I play with this game with, that we debate about and we talk about this, but when it comes down to the story of who basically told Lothric, seems more like it would be none other than Pontiff. And I mean that's what we've come up with so far. I'm allowing it to be the narrative for now. Only the reason why is because number one, it was a great, it fits the narrative. Like it just fits it in certain ways that you kind of just want to take what you got, run with it for a while, but don't forget about it, and then you go, okay, I still feel like there's something here that may not suggest that he was the one that actually spoke to Lothric and changed his whole mind around. And then the way I was thinking was like, it could have been the Crystal Sages, one of the Crystal Sages maybe, who else was in there? Orbic went in there, but only after we had already been through the game and stuff. So I mean, there's how do you say how do I say this? Can't really say that it was Orbic, right? So he's out of the picture. Because he came after they had already been convinced, after he was already convinced. So in this case, we have a very slim pickings. Was it? I don't know. I mean, who was talking? Who had access to him in the Grand Archives to teach him? It would have to be the scholar, right? The scholar would be the Grand Archives. Okay, so let's take a look and mind drop. My boy Science was saying like it's the wet nurse. The wet nurse is was Pontiff. That's impossible, because wet nurses, their title is so much more of a woman's role than it is a man, because it involves certain things that a woman who's taking the place of the mother would do normally. That was just something that was done back in slave times. They would let the other woman breastfeed and things like that. Whatever. But and that was pretty bad, because that was like, I mean, where is the milk for my child? You know what I'm saying? Shit was bad back then, man. But anyway, let me think about how that is. But that's pretty diabolical. So let me see. Gradually restore HP. Let's jump over to a different ring for a second. So the Scholar's Ring. Now, they don't give us much to work with here besides title. All we really got is the scholars that wear the candle with on their head. To me, I don't know if everybody's done everything there's possibly to do in Dark Souls. I found things that I want to do that I feel are like, they have significance, but I need to see it through to make sure that there's nothing there before I go look it up, because I've been looking around inside this game, and there are times when I have stumbled upon finding things that I didn't even realize was there. I was like, oh snap, like I didn't even know this was there. And I didn't turn to no videos or anything like that, and the videos that I did turn to didn't really have a lot. Like, they had a lot of stuff that they show you different ways to do this, but there were certain things I had to learn on my that I did. And that just goes to show that the game itself might have a little bit more to it than what we were left with. Because, you know, there were times when I would beat a certain master or a certain thing, and I'm thinking like, I beat the game. It's like, nah, you didn't beat the game. Not yet. You know? Like, when is it over? You gotta look for more people before I beat that in this game? Anyway. So, a ring engraved with a portrait of a scholar increases intelligence. In Lothric, the scholar has long been considered one of the 3 pillars of the king's rule, and is therefore master of the Grand Archives. Okay? I mean, in all honesty, for me to think Crystal Sage is above Pontiff would be like giving Pontiff no background. No background. And I'm not satisfied with that. Cause it's like, where'd you come from, bro? Where did you come from? And and how did you get to status like this? You know? And be so mighty that he's exercising his magic and his he has his magic, which is not even, I don't think that his magic was the regular magic. It was another tier. I mean, obviously when you fight him, he's that grand, right? He's that big. But because he was using magic that was closely associated with the hues of the moon, you know, the energy, that dark energy that comes from the moon. Now, to me, that is like the closest you are gonna get with dark manifesting itself through light. What do I mean by that? Here, this is what I mean by that. This is what I mean by that. Dark Moon Blade. Right? Now I want you guys to just kind of take a look here for a second. I know we're supposed to be talking about the twins and the twin demons and Pontiff and how whoever tricked Prince Lothric. I'm gonna get to that. But I just want to touch on this for a second because I just feel like there's just so much more to what this is. And the reason why I say that and their intention, it's almost just, it's part of the nasties down here. It's part of the group that is right here. When it comes to normal manipulation of pyromancy, this was like the opposition to it. Why do I say that? Their faith build. That's a faith build. That's a faith build. Okay? Everything else in pyromancy. Oh, and this one, the warmth. And we'll get around to that too. But this is a manifestation of the dark and light. I mean, it says it. Dark moon light. Reinforces your weapon with dark moon light. Okay? Why is that of significance? Because this is done through faith, right? We all agree. Because it says 30 to faith, so you need a lot of faith to be able to do this. But faith in what? Faith in magic? That was already a problem for those in the Pyromancy kingdom, where their whole magic setup thing is with faith and with intelligence. But predominantly a lot of their stuff has a higher number of intelligence and a lower number of faith required. Some are equal, such as this, and that, and this. But look at this. It takes 20 more intelligence than faith to cast that. This, you can cast it without either one. Right? And this speaks volumes. You'd be like, yo, so that means you could just go and buy Pyromancy and use Chaos Storm right off the bat. Yes, and it is a much more devastating fire than its lower counterpart, which is Firestorm. Okay? It's just, this is a much more hyped up version of that. And mind you, FP cost to cast this is 3 FP. I've never used this. Alright? I've never used it. No, I'm sorry. 35. I could have sworn it said something else just now. Yeah, it says FP3. Okay, I guess it was just a glitch. Whatever. Anyway. I was just fucking just now. I know I should said 30, 38. That's technology for you. So, here you got this game, right, is telling you, yo, you could, for 2 slots, you can do this Pyromancy for 30 whatever points they said before, right? It says 3 right now, but trust, it's like 34, 30, something like that, because it cannot just be 2 or 3, okay? It just doesn't work that way. Anyway, switch it up real quick, right? Art of the Flame of Chaos from Ancient Izalith. Erect multiple pillars of flames or fire pillars in the vicinity. Chaotic flame melts even great boulders and creates a brief surge of molten lava on impact. And the all-engulfing chaos eventually formed a tremendous seabed which birthed and twisted things known as demons. So you wonder, like, this is a very powerful spell. Why would I have to, or why would I need to equip something like that and use it? Or why would you even want to even use these type of pyromancies in the game? Because you might cause problems. You know, Cornix talks to you about the use of fire and its importance. And the same fire that burnt the Witch of Izalith, you know, is the same one she used. Right? So he's telling you, be very, very, very cautious, because she got burned by the same fire she was controlling. And if somebody gave you this much power to use right off the back with a glove, come on. You're definitely gonna do chaotic things the first time. Because they're gonna tell you, don't use this. Don't ever use this. Don't know the power of it. You know, just, you know what I'm saying? Now you know how to do it, just don't do it. You know. And here you don't even need intelligence, but you need intelligence to use a smaller form of it so that it's more controlled. It's more turned down. It's turned down. You know, it's like you gotta use intelligence to know how to control it. Once you learn how to control it, see here, there's none required. It's assumed that the person that uses it knows they can do it off the back. Anyone can do it. But to control the fire and heat, so nothing comes out. Look, you can see inside the fire how there's things coming up out of the fire. You know, or one thing that's actually coming up out of the fire. And they call it a seabed. You know. So chaos flame melts even great boulders and creates a brief surge of molten lava on impact. The all-engulfing chaos flame eventually formed a tremendous seabed which birthed the twisted things known as demons. So they come through this fire. It's uncontrollable, and you know, you don't have no control over it. Here, says primal pyromancy taught by Queen Lana. This is a smaller version of that. A daughter of the Witch of Izalith. So she knew how to control the chaos flame. Surrounds the caster with multiple pillars. Says the enraged storm is discriminate, such is the intrinsic horror of the flame. You see, it's hinting at, you know, that this flame that she used on a small scale can be used on a larger scale to do this type of devastation. And you know, you can do it just like that. You know, you don't even, you know, and that's what they want you to do. You know, that's what they want you to do. So going back for a second to let's see, what we were talking about, the Dark Moon Blade, is that this would be the dark for the light, and using faith, only faith, okay, when using pyromancy, comes out like this to be used. You're trying to create fire, but the fire maybe just wasn't good. Let's check the stats on this for a second. You only need 10 faith. The smallest amount of faith in fire puts it out. But it doesn't, it eliminates the actuality of the burning of the fire, and produces a smoke in air, a mist that burns. Acid burns just as, if not just as bad as it would if you were on the sun. I mean, that's just the way we got it. If somebody poured a whole bottle of acid that burns on contact on your skin, that's made to melt you down in seconds, as it eats through your skin, would it be any difference being thrown in a pit of lava? You know what I'm saying? You'd be gone in seconds. You know, yeah, well, not seconds, but, you know, if somebody poured hot lava on you, you know, you're done for. So, this mist is not lava, obviously, right? Because even the demon fire that comes up ain't lava. It's just strictly, straight up fuego. Alright? And there's a lot that we can pick out just from this very idea. It's just weird because it's like this chaos storm, in which was used a lot like chaos bed vestiges, traces of tremendous seabeds that birthed the beings known as demons, right? So that could possibly be what's in the middle of that thing, or it might just be the soul of it. Hurls chaos flame that scorches the vicinity. Demons born from fire bore its smoldering essence and perished soon after. Man shares his rapport with the flame to this day. Demons born from fire bore its smoldering essence and perished soon after. So, or perished, excuse me, I say perished. They come from the flames, man. They come from the flames. They probably rise up. When they rise up, they look like that in the air, whatever. They come from fire, and obviously fire is living. So when too much of it is used, I guess this is what you kind of sort of have. I don't know, but it was in the hands of a woman who was giving birth to things. The same chaos storm probably gave birth to a big demon. You know, like cease the discharge this, or whatever they call them in part 1. I still need to figure out that storyline too. But when it comes out and you use something unlike this, which takes nothing, right? Which I stressed. Some pyromancies, such as Firestorm, such as profane flame, okay? They do not require any faith whatsoever. All they need is intelligence. That's all they need. So when you turn around, right, it's like, oh, it's okay to have a lot of faith. I mean, a lot of intelligence and a little bit of faith, or maybe equal. But never ever faith pyromancy, faith build pyromancy, right? And you say to yourself, like, okay, let's read it. A unique pyromancy crafted by Ingi, a heretic inhabiting the great swamp long ago, creates a poison mist. Ingi was driven out of the great swamp. However, his pyromancy continues to succeed him. Perhaps even dwellers of the great swamp were reminded that their very existence is one rooted in heresy. That's crazy to say, right? Because it's like, it says that their very existence is rooted in heresy. Their existence is in heresy of the, like, to me, you know what that says? It says that if a person such as Ingi created this energy form, not burning fire, but a mist of poison, and he did it through faith, not through intelligence, through faith. It's like, we gotta banish him, because he's not doing regular fire that requires both or only intelligence. He's doing something that strictly says, yo, I'm using faith alone to play with pyromancy, and that pyromancy removes the aspect that keeps burning. It can burn you up, but so can acid, you know, and that's what you spit out when you spit a poison mist, you know. Look at this, toxic mist, you know, toxic mist. Now this is just a mist, okay, and you're getting poisoned. The insides are burning up like fire, and then, oh Lord, the worst, acid surge. You know, when it comes to the point that it's saying acid surge, it has become a liquid form at this point. I don't think you guys hear me. I don't think you guys hear me. If you do guys happen to come on, I'm always talking about the lures and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, there's a level of significance there, you know, because of that. It shows you where the kingdoms started separating through their indifferences and stuff like that. Like, we see what starts to happen. So you see all different types of things. Is he going off? I don't know if he's going off or not. Nigga, that's what I'm ready for. Take forever. Let's go. sorry. That was my bad. Oh, I should have been on it. I'm trying to do the other move, but why didn't I stop it? Why didn't I stop it? It's time to do my thing. Let's go. Gotta turn into thing. Turn my blades on at this point in time, but so be careful, man. This dude right here, yo, you gotta come on too close to this too. Let's do bonbons, yo. Let's do the bonbons. Let's go. This one is gonna be just straight bludgeon damage. And we're gonna beat you there. Yeah. Dirty, yo. You know I'm running through it. Oh, you moved me right in front of him. Alright, I would've had him. I would've had him. What does this say? I shall. Let's see my email address. Uber update account 3182. Okay. I saw that already. We're still waiting for Uber. We're still waiting for Uber. No. I know I'm still waiting for Uber. No. Waiting for these motherfuckers to reply. Anyway, folks. Give me a sec. Give me a second. Give me a second. What we done. Still worse than looking at these things. Anyway, I was supposed to tell you about it. We'll switch it up. See what happens. Yes. Another is gold. Alright, we're ready off the cliff. Alright. This. Give it time, and the battle's ready to go. Right. Oh, we lost them. No. Alright. So.
U.S. cryonics lab currently keeping the heads and bodies of 200 people frozen.
Yeah, there's people already who are trying to go into cryo state. I guess. I don't know. People want to live forever and ever and ever. Uh-oh. They gonna try to live forever and ever and ever. Anyway, on to the next fight. And he's already jumped down. Okay. Okay, boss man. I'm on my way. Alright, let's go help him out. Alright. Oh. He came through with it. Good. Real good. Alright. Go. Come on, get him. There you go. Get him, please get him. Get him. Yeah. Get that shot. Yeah, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Good hit. Yes, let me get some. Yes. Let me go put my symbol down because they don't know what I'm about. I used to say it. Give it to him. I'll sit over here. Come sit with me. For real. Got him good. Alright, so for those still watching my live, or whenever they do, because I know they will. Alright. So, alright, so let me put my sign down again, just in case some old poor chap wants some help. Alright. And we are going to go back in here for a sec. Alright, so I believe we were in Magic for a while. Let's go back over there. Scroll all the way down. So again, so now that we have one of the very first pyromancies that you get in the game, and uniquely it is a poison mist. Burns the same way, it's just air. You know what I'm saying? Fire burns a little different, you know what I'm saying? But they use, nonetheless, they use faith. Okay, it's a faith-based pyromancy, and that says a lot. It says a lot for somebody who decides that they're going to do something other than fire, or create some other than fire with pyromancy and make a poison mist. Now, does having a poison mist help? Well, it depends. If you're in a tribe and you guys need weapons, then you can use that for that purpose. But would that be a reason to actually shun the person? No, because what are you doing with fireballs? If you're not creating campfires, maybe you can cook food with it. I don't think you need to be able to throw bursting fireballs at somebody, at a particular thing. It's just not gonna work out for you. Like you don't need all those fireballs flying everywhere to cook food. Okay. Look at Cornix. Cornix was, I don't think he was necessarily exiled from his clan, but he was caught and he was locked up. Maybe because he got kicked out of the Great Swamp. I don't know. What I do know is that he fears the fire just as much as his enemy. You know? Pyromancy of old restored by Cornix. A rare technique that undergoes changes after leaving the caster's hand. Making this spell renowned for its difficulty. Whatever. That means it's uncontrollable. Art of the Flame, Chaos. Anyway, point is, again, as I was saying earlier about Chaos Fire, this is a great Chaos Orb. Do you need any intelligence or faith? No, you don't. You're given a great power and you don't know its responsibility or a purpose to use it. So when you start to look at it in other forms, that's when you have intelligence and faith as something that comes into place on how to use something like that in a much more smaller way, right? So, because to me, these are smaller ways of using it, okay? Of what a great Chaos Fire Orb would be. Not that they eventually created it, because I think you could, but then that's like saying you took something that goes from 0 to 100. Sounds better to me. Why? Because it's coming from something so great, and then you're finally starting to actually be able to control that greatness. And it wasn't as great as it was when it first comes out. That's what they say, with a lot of things, it's never as good as the first time. Or you could look at it the other way. I don't know. Look at it like they intelligently brought this into, actuality and practice, and then all of a sudden, anybody can do it. No. That's, to me, you don't get to use something of high potency without having to learn basics. And basics would be like basic pyromancy fireballs. So it looks like eventually you're kind of moving up the scale, right? Which you would be, because you're learning how to control this energy intelligently and with faith. Okay? So by the time you reach something like Great Chaos Orb, you don't even need either one of those to wield it. Anyone can wield it. But you will be able to wield it with what? With more responsibility, because you know how to use it. You'll be much smarter in how you choose to use it, and you'll have faith in your ability to do it, right? So here's having no control, not nor faith in it, nor do you have any intelligence on how to go about using it, because nothing else is really going to help you manage this type of energy. Not luck, not dexterity, not strength, not vitality, not endurance, not atonement, and not vigor. And these are all the different types of stats. Okay? So, you know, so here's the first time they're using faith alone, though. Faith alone. And that person gets kicked out, and they learn toxic mist, poison mist, and then acid. Now we're talking about something that is literally going into the realm of a liquid form that is burning. You know, mist is a mist. It still holds weight. It still holds weight. It's just more for airborne. It's lighter. It's not as dense. I think acid surge is something that becomes way more dense than just the poison mist. And you know, naturally, if you look at something in most, not in most cases, but in almost like in our world, you know, we see something come from something and we go, no, that's not, you know, that can't be related to that or whatever, right? And I said the same thing when I said, wait, poison mist is a pyromancy, right? And what makes them so different, besides the faith build over the intelligence build, is that you're dealing with what condensation makes. You know, fire and cold, or wet, if you will, in a way. I don't know if you guys get where I'm coming from. Like, I'm gonna slowly guide you guys mentally about this, but something like profuse sweating temporary boosts all resistance. Okay. Flash sweat, intense sweating increases the fire damage absorption. These things, obviously, right, are things that you would get from the human body when you are trying to do certain things that the body requires more energy to move, to do stuff, right? When it comes down to pushing out colds, diseases, and maybe, you know, whatever, people try measures of raising a fever. And I understand the idea of getting a fever. Your body has to heat up enough to cook whatever's in your body that's burning, you know, or maybe it's that your body is just overworking itself, working overtime to remove whatever it is that is harming your body. And it starts to dehydrate the water out of your body, you know, and because there's times when I've sweat when I'm hot, and there's times I sweat when I'm cold, and I'll be cold, like cold, like my body's cold, you know, the flesh, and then I'm sweating. And that's so amazing, because we only think like, oh, you know, when we sweat, it's just hot. We could run with that for profuse sweat. You know, the body temperature, the soul, you know, you make your soul, your heart beat so much harder that it starts to pump more blood and more circulation to all different parts of your body, you know, more energy, to the point that, you know, we start breaking out in cold sweats, you know, or heat sweat or whatever. But it's increasing our ability. Now, I found this pretty, not weird, but in here it says profuse sweating temporary boosts all resistances. Okay, it's not really much to really give resistance to. The resistance is 307, 331 with poison. Frost is 297. and curse is 339. So, it's probably gonna get bumped up to like, I don't know. I mean, I could always equip it and show you. And it might do a great deal. It might not. I've never used it. Maybe one day I'll take a look at it and see exactly. Well, I can actually do that now. And see if there's a major difference. Take this for a second because I don't really use the other ones. Let's go with all. Resist all for a second to see something. And I'm gonna change out my weapon to, where's the fire at? Alright, so alright, so my resistance right now is, switch it. Let's just look at bleed is 307. Okay, so 307 we got right now. Let's see if we should sweat. Okay, 307. Let's check our stats now. 307. Oh wow. So it goes up about 80 points on everything. That's still, to me, that's still not a lot. Like, that's not like, oh my god, you know. It's a nice thing to have. It's unfortunate. This is, I don't know. I'm still profusely sweating in the game. Something like fire damage, but I don't really need that. Okay, oh, we get summoned to another world. Hopefully my warmth is here. Oh man. Alright, so I gotta switch out this weapon. Alright, about to help out another young lad get through this. Back to it so we can talk about lawful tournaments. all the way back over here. This should have been all the way up there fighting, man. Damn. Let's see what happens. Crazy. Boom. Oh no. Yep. You. Mark. What is it with that arm back like that, bro? This ain't my time. As they say. Still a victory for me. So, all right, go back. No. Alright, so back to the Souls game, right? So we'll talk into the magic. So yes, you go from doing something with faith, and that person ends up being kicked out and is considered a heretic. Pyromancy is considered a heretic. You know, witches they consider themselves, or they call themselves witches, or they were called witches of whatever, because that's what they were, right? You know, part one, to fight the pilgrim, to fight the butterfly in the garden, you summon a witch, which is considered a heretic sorcerer or something like that. And she has a hat, and she wields the same staff that's inside this game as well. Witches are known to do magic, not pyromancy, so it's kind of weird. But magic and sorcery has its ties, because it's almost like you can, I mean, come on, let's be serious though. If you can do sorcery with magic, right? And then that magic, you can also do that same magic, you can do pyromancy. But they fall into two separate types of groups. We're going to get to that as well, because again, I was talking about how things are in twos, you know, and I think that's how a lot of times we kind of get down to the nitty-gritty about a particular type of thing that works either well together or much greater apart, more or less. I don't know. We're going to get down to it though, right? So here you got sorcery that is pyromanced sorcery. Let me see if I can find it. To use pyromancy, flame, blah, 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 blah. This is something that they started using pyromancy directly from the hands, and the hands are always burning because I guess, yeah, because they're handling fire in that case, right? But when you see a witch, she has a staff. The witches of Isolith and so on, you know, they knew magic, you know, to an extent, I believe. They didn't come into power until they learned how to play with a type of magic, which was pyromancy. Let's see. The signature flame manipulating spell common to pyromancers hurls a giant fireball. Blazing fireball explodes on impact, dealing the fire damage to surrounding areas. They say once pyromancer learns a spell, their understanding for the fire deepens together for a yearning for it. You know? So I'm trying to find that sorcery that talks about a rare technique that undergoes changes after it leaves the spellcaster's hand. So in other words, when they release it, it just kind of goes wild and shoots straight out. It says, now if you act the art of the flame, great boulders, yes, okay, and cleric. Oh wait, is this? No, it isn't. Pyromancer Dunnel was fashioned by his ceremonial art employed by the clerics of the smoldering lake. So they had clerics in smoldering lake. Clerics. And this was the pyromancy that they were using. Okay, so chaos burns when you have the iron, primordial fire burns, life is born in the bed of chaos, and a grievous symbol of Isolith sin. Say, but was the primordial life born in the bed of chaos? But So it's just taking some time out to actually look, like really get into what I was reading on this last part. It says chaos burns away the blink of an eye, but was the primordial life born in the bed of chaos and the grievous symbol of Izolith's sin. So, you know, when they use the term so loosely, like Izolith's sin, right? We can correlate that to two things if we're looking for answers. What would that be, you might ask? Right? Just need to finish this. I could have finished it. That shit right now. That's what I'm gonna do. So chaos comes away. So when they say Izolith's sin, a place can't sin. Okay? The grievous symbol of Izolith's sin. That makes it sound more like a person than a place. But the place is called Izolith. So when we make sense of it, we go, oh, it's her name and her place. But that would make no sense. Gwyn didn't name his castle Gwyn. Gwyn's, you know? Every time we talk about a place, they talk about Izolith being a place. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that one too. But that one makes it more evident. Anyway, so here you have acid surge where the very essence of fire is being transformed into a fluid that is poisonous and to more of a physical touch, which is basically liquid form, acid surge. Because it burns like it's probably denser than the mist. Unlike the other two, this one was accepted for military purposes. And funny thing about it is that, funny thing about it is that play mode. Cancel to masters. could have did better on that fight. So, let's see. Alright, where was I? Alright, so. Magic, two parts. There's the faith, and then there's the intelligence. Okay? So basically, in this world of dealing with magic, heavily intelligence is used and no faith is used whatsoever is required in any type of sorcery. Is faith used, not even in dark, okay? When you go to faith, everything, and even in dark, for dark things that are used in miracles, only faith. Only faith. And mind you, there's only dark, and dark. I'm probably missing like maybe one more, or two more. And I think that's the vow of silence on this one. And the other one is, well, no, I'm probably missing like maybe like 5 more in the dark realm. When I start this character over, I'll have those dark magic from them. But it's still faith-based as far as I know. As far as I know. Okay? Faith. Everything faith. Okay? When it comes to pyromancy, you got faith here. You got faith for this, faith for that. What's another thing that has faith and it hits home harder than what we think? And here you have the rejection or the rejected. Here you have what is accepted. Here is what you have not as an acceptance, but they couldn't make an exception for it. It's just that it comes from a place where people who are trying to rekindle the fire care about Gwen's age. How can I say? The motives of the mound makers, where you get warmth from, makes it kind of, it's almost like a morbid place. It's a place where they, I don't know, maybe they are accumulating to use fire in that way. I don't know. All I know is that the warmth that's actually there, right, that you use, comes from the mound makers. They feared separation from gods and sought a familiar bond. So they feared the separation they had from the gods. I don't know what gods they worship or who they thought they should have worshipped, right? Perhaps leading to the creation of the flame of harmony. Okay? Having faith in being pyromancers for those who feared being separated. And mind you, when I listen to the story of when they talk about they, you have to pick this apart for what it is. And like I said, sometimes you gotta match locations with the item to draw out its true purpose of being there and the whole that goes with the whole of the story. So in this case, it says peculiar pyromancy this is, basically, right? Of the mound makers, which means it belongs to them. Okay? Create a gentle flame that restores HP on touch. So here you got, they feared separation from the gods. Pyromancers or mound makers sound like maybe could be either one. It could be either one. It could have been pyromancers who created it after they went to mound makers, or are they talking about mound makers all together? That all of these things that came together, all these skulls that were collected, prayed for themselves? No, they can't. What I think happened was that pyromancers who probably got caught up, you know, in the process of becoming exiled. And there were a lot that got exiled, I think, because you find some that are exiled in part 1, I believe. You find one, he's down in the Great Swamp. And then you discover maybe like 2 more in here, in part 3. So you start to discover these, you know, these individuals who are no longer in the Great Swamp area, and if they have been pushed out for some reason or another, this particular type of pyromancy happens when somebody who is a pyromancer uses faith, you know, in a different way through the power of pyromancy. So, you know, I don't think that using pyromancy with a faith build is necessarily a bad thing in comparison to what Ingifi, whatever his name is, Ingi, became a heretic. I can't really say if that's all he became a heretic for the fact that he crafted this, okay? But somebody who developed pyromancy on this skill, obviously, you know, he put his name out there, you know, like, look, this is what I did, this is what you can do with pyromancy. And he just happened to be one of those that ended up getting pushed out of the clan. They say that at the end of his journey, Ingi happened upon a brulette poison and a young lady. You know, we don't know what that young lady is, you know, but you know, we can make a pretty good guess, you know, if we just pay attention to the details. Either way, these were considered forbidden. This one too, in a way. And how do we know this? It says pyromancy of Karthus sand emits an acid which erodes weapons and armor. It says Karthus swordsmen attach great value to victory and would not shun the use of pyromancies, for where is the honor and death in scored bones? So obviously something like this, these type of pyromancies, which are acid, surge, the toxic mist and stuff like that, when it came down to Karthus, this is the only Karthus ones that you really get would be acid surge. And is that to say that that's what led everything down the road of them end up, well, not them, but their leader, the giant, the boss of that area, Karthus himself, he knew that they were using pyromancies that were even deadlier than just playing with fire itself, because here's the thing, it came from fire, such as something like Chaos Storm or the bed, right? Because the bed is where the flame was, and then all these different souls started coming out, waking up that were in the dark. But then there's something so much more sinister in the Chaos bed where demons come out of, which is the Chaos Storm. And, you know, maybe that's it on another level, unlike it just being like a stream of fire. Um, you know, where it's just like burning there. Somebody decides to play with souls in the fire or something of the sort. Um, there's different things you can do with fire. You know, these people are not getting burned by it, but they can get burned by their own. Something like acid, acid surge, not acid surge. There was a particular type of pyromancy. Oh no, it's not in this one. It's actually in pestilence. You can get hurt by its fumes as well. And that's just using full-on blown intelligence. Who knows? Flame could have came first, then sorcery, or sorcery, then flame. It's hard to tell, right? So going more further down, we look at Karthus. We look at what we get from Karthus as well, such as not the power within. Oh, Karthus Beacon. So Karthus Beacon allows somebody to play with the power within. And yes, there's a difference in which pyromancy is used. So there's the within version, which is what you see on Power Within, which was used to boost attack and greatly reduce HP. It says a pyromancer fears the flame. However, this fear subsides once it is accepted as suitable for strength. And you know, a lot of people tend to get very, very power hungry. So that could have burnt up that man's soul, and that fire could have taken on, you know, his soul could have been trapped in that fire, just burning his body to get like that. And you ask yourself, well, how does one, and now mind you, this is a forbidden pyromancy, okay? It's forbidden. This person is playing with the fire within them. It probably comes from the heart, I would like to say. It's very evident in the picture, and it's very evident to just life in general, you know? Because you get more blood flow going. You can turn up the temperature in your body, things like that. You know, that's how we know. Things like flash sweat and profuse sweat, it is the type of thing that you activate to the body through pyromancy, and this is done through small intelligence and faith on both sides. Same thing with the power within. Is that a coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that it's being spot on with what you can start to do that'll make you stronger. When the body's always heated up, it's likely that you are going to be able to fend off more diseases. And they know that something like flash sweat and sweating in the body alone is what we do when we're purging. Now the power within being utilized in a different way, where damage increases with consecutive attacks. And this type of fire says Karthus's aggression has been likened to be an uncontrollable fire, and since ancient times, its beacon has been used as a signal of war. So when they start using stuff like this, that's when things are starting to get crazy. And that's how they know. And they said they've been dealing with an uncontrollable type of fire. Who knows what kind of fire they had? Because at the end of the day, this guy, what's his name? Karthus, he's not well, he is a lord. He is a lord of Cinder. But he's a lord of Cinder that ended up doing too much. And it cost him his life when it came down to playing with pyromancy, such as the black flame, and such as the black fire orb and the snake thing on the ground that you can throw fire snake. Where did these things come from? Where did they come from? All dark pyromancies came from Karthus. Oh, excuse me. It wasn't Karthus. Karthus is the place. High wall near is the boss. Okay. It says pyromancy discovered by grave wardens after the high wall near fell to the abyss. The black flame inflicts dark damage, striking targets with heavy force, a weighty force. Excuse me. Pyromancy discovered by grave wardens after high wall near fell to the abyss. That's how they know that he was ripped by the abyss, you know, at this point. Because when he died, that flame consumes him. How? I don't know. But obviously the grave wardens that warded the grave became exposed to this. Black flames born from the abyss bear no shadow. They are said to be impenetrable fires of humanity. You know, you see, in Dark Souls 1, not even Dark Souls 1, but in Dark Souls 1, you use humanities to gain your life back. Not your life, like your life bar, but your physical form. Because you start to decay. You need humanities to restore your physical body back to its original, last given born shape or whatever. And now it just so happens that in part 3, so many people have, I guess, so many Dark Souls, and they can absorb themselves through doing that. A lot of them are starting to have like what they call these humanities. They're being used on human flesh to live longer, to do the will of Gwyn, to keep the Age of Fire going. But I think ultimately there's a consequence for the way he decided that he was going to handle everything in the world to keep it going. Like what would be the cost of doing that? And it was really all at the expense of using possibly, you know, the pygmies or whatever who are close to the Dark Soul, you know, to keep this age going. And then marking people in the end is what he did, so that they wouldn't die. They would keep going until they lost their minds, and, you know, until the Age of Fire would come back. They thought that it would just be, it's just an age for now that is supposed to pass, and then a whole lot of other time it's supposed to pass, and by the time he comes back around, or that time comes back around for fire to start growing back in the world, I assume Gwyn felt like he would return, just like the sun always comes back and returns. So he died to keep everything going, and it's just been really an uphill struggle because the dark forces just keep on coming in, and they're making their ways to Firelink shrines. They're impacting different people. You find the soul of a firekeeper that has made it back from the abyss, and then learns how to heal it, so that the person, anyone that would come after her as a firekeeper, if the person who's playing, like mine, like of course like me when I first started playing, it asks if you want to give the firekeeper's soul. And of course, if you just want to hold on to it to read it to see if it has further use, you can do so. But you find out in the game it doesn't have any other further purpose besides giving it to the firekeeper, just because, or maybe even to change the music around, or maybe not. I don't know. But the reality is that it says that it will find itself in the bosom of another. And that's exactly what has happened. He found the soul. You bring the soul back. She glimpses into the soul. She sees what happens. She knows how to heal the dark sign. And she's not affected by the dark sigil in which you come in contact with when it comes to being the Lord of Lords and so forth and so on. So you'd be like the next new king of the abyss, almost in a way. But you would be on top of the earth, where there would be darkness on top of the earth, and there would be no sunlight until that time passes. That's why you have these dark forces in the churches working so hard now, such as the sisters from Londor, and it's like they've made a tremendous amount of they made this tremendous trip to go out of their way to even go into the painted world and remove fire from that dimension as well. Hence, you know, I was talking about the connection with Gale and him actually helping you out in this particular fight alongside of Grey Rat's companion. And I just, you know, was taking this time out to just talk about the two. And I mean, there's deeper scales when it comes down to this, you know, with this particular type of darkness that comes out. It's still a fire, but it is dark fire because it's abyssal fire. This is an abyssal. Instead of saying abyss, it's the black flame, you know. And if this type of flame becomes the flame that is in the, you know, on the bonfire, then the abyss already won. And they're already winning as it is, because the first Firelink Shrine already sunk down into the ground, into a space, and that's where we fight the two demons at from part 1. Okay, but in part 3, that's where everything is going down, and they're the closest to what they would call the Ring City. But I think all that other stuff is already eroded and fell away, because it was already going down. It was already melting because of they decided to drown that whole area of the undead. But if I remember how it was told to me, is that Gwen put this seal on the people so they wouldn't die, and then they started seeing, I guess, more and more people either coming back to life, or they saw how the abyss was coming closer to New Londo, so they flooded it. The whole city was flooded. People died, and there was a lot of spirits that are around there. So when you go there, that's what you see. There's a lot of spirits floating around and stuff. But as messed up as it is, that's just the way it is, really. In their world of Dark Souls. So, alright, so going back over here, right, to Warmth being the faith build for them, and they may have been the ones that prayed out to the gods, and then upon praying out to the gods, here they're gifted with the Flame of Harmony, which basically just floats in front of you, and you know, it provides heat, and you're able to restore while you fight. Something like this type of fire, used with Karthus Beacon, not Karthus Beacon, but the power within, you'd be able to restore your energy and fight just as hard. And all you have to do is just stand around your orb to do so. It's a good way to bring people into a fight. Use your ability to hit harder as you can consecutively hit. If they're going to stand under that light with you, you'll be getting back your energy just as fast as you'd be losing it. So those two combinations is pretty dope to have. However, that's a faith build for healing. Like most of these spells here are all faith, and so is that. So who's to say that using a faith build on pyromancy is bad, right? But we got two bads, one that's bad but was accepted for their own purposes of war, and then there's the one that you can't even learn from isolate. It was something that was learned by the mound makers, those pyromancers that were kicked out, created another type of flame that heals. And they did it learning through faith. So we're yet to see now mind you, we see the transition for both when it comes down to fire. Fire plays the middle ground, you know, faith. This is what faith will get you. Something different from fire. You'll get healing, you'll get this acid real quick that burns your armor and equipment, and then you got the stuff that burns the person up, right? But when you mix that with intelligence, you get some sort of fire that you can use, you know? And then eventually you got all these different types of fires here that you can use, right? And then you have certain fire that only uses intelligence. Could that be the gateway to using magic? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Eventually, after using intelligence so much to, to be able to wield something such as the profane flame, okay? It's 25 in intelligence. That's pretty high for a pyromancy like that. So, what's the big deal, right? The evolution of them using things such as pyromancy strictly with just intelligence alone. But maybe it was something that was created with the essence of mixing faith with intelligence. Okay? So if somebody comes from a faith, they come from a faith. It's all faith. Everything down here is faith. Even if it has magical properties, which started to shine through what I was initially talking about earlier, which was the Dark Moon Blade. Whereas you have, you want to say dark. Dark is an element of its own, and so is magic. So is magic, okay? What am I getting at? One of these, or one of the two, is being used in fusion with creating a weapon with faith as a miracle. It's a miracle. This is a miracle. This is something that was created, but it was created through faith with the backing of magic or dark. And if you ask me, I don't really see the weapons that come from the blade of the Dark Moon, right? It says magic. It doesn't say dark. And then, of course, there is a dark miracle that you can use, right? And it's also a miracle, I believe. This is like the combination or the transition of the two, meaning, like, you get to use either a magic-based miracle, okay, or a dark-based miracle, but not making it the primary damage or ability, but the fact that it is dark, you're going to use dark energy plus the physical. It's kind of hard to say, right? But if you're the type that you don't want to use something like a magic blade or magic sword to reinforce your weapon with magic, that's through faith. I mean, that's through intelligence. You make a magic weapon. But when you do it through something such as faith, you get Dark Moon Blade. Why? Because you are, it's almost like you, first off, it's being used in two different scales. Miracles are brought forth through tales, and pyromancy is done through skill. So how do you do something that you do for skill, but you do it through intelligence? Like, you know? So it gives you something to really think about. Is this blade dark with light mixed together? We know it's possible. We know mixing somewhat of the two is possible. This the only light blade in the game. Okay? When I say the only, I mean the only light sword in the game is this. Sacred Light and Flame. Sword forged from the reunion of the inseparable swords born from the souls of Lothric and Lorien, the twin princes. Okay? Their union is rooted in a curse and perpetuated by grief. So you can do two types. You can do, in a normal attack, you can cast Sacred Light, or in the strong, you can do Sacred Fire. They're like one and the same, really. They kind of mesh together in that way. But another thing that they confuse you on is the Moonlight Blade. It's not the Dark Moon Blade, by the way. It's the Moonlight Blade, which has magic, right? So you say Moonlight Blade, but this one's description is very defined. It says the Dark Moon Blade, right? The Judgment Sword, to me, has its somewhat place in the magic realm, but ties connections heavily with anything. Let's just read it. A ceremonial sword held in Pontiff's left hand, representing the judgment of the moon, but the magic far closer to sorcery. So sorcery and moon, they both come from the same type of energy, right? And of course, we're going to feel it on a scale where we're going to try to separate the idea that anything related to the moon doesn't have anything to do with magic or sorcery in this case. And again, when I was talking earlier about the heretic witch that you can summon in part 1, they called her heretic, they called her a witch, okay? And she was obviously cast out of wherever she was from, right? I'd have to read the descriptions in part 1, and she uses a staff, okay? We know wizards to use staffs, okay? But she has a staff that's in the game, okay? And I'll show you that staff right now. Although her name is not on this one, but you'll find her name on it in part. Here it is. In part 1, they literally say her name. In part 1, I can't think of it right now. But it says catalyst used by generations of heretic sorcerers. Okay, sorcery is a logical academic discipline, and the power of sorceries depend heavily on the caster's intelligence. Okay, so now let me see if I can find something that explains. Here we go. Okay. Ancient catalyst. Now mind you, this is a staff catalyst of the Witch of Islip and her daughters. Okay, which of Isolin? Which determines what she is, and of blase blah would be the name of that particular place. That's why it's like I said, the wordplay is crazy. You can't call her Isolin if they're saying the witch of Isolin. I mean, that's a place. And her daughters, used long before the dawn of chaos and pyromancy. So they were using this staff. Okay, and they were already witches using staffs long before the dawn of chaos and pyromancy. Why did they separate the two? Why did they separate the two? Right? That comes into question. You know, used long before the dawn of chaos and pyromancy. They have put chaos on the front part of pyromancies, making it look like they were one of the same. But I think when they decided to bring two of the same to get two of those likings together, they got something much more. With the birth of the chaos flame, see, chaos and pyromancy, right? The flame witches were at once both sorcerers and shamans. What does that mean? Sorcerers and shamans. And when they're talking about witches with staffs, okay? When you see a staff in the hand, you don't think witch. When you see a witch with a broom, you think witch. But a staff? No, because staffs are something that you would find on a wizard. So what were they doing before the flame? It says the flame, witches were once both sorcerers and shamans. So we're talking about all women here, perhaps? All women? Or maybe women versus men? I would say all women. Let's keep it logical. Let's keep it, you know, how we know it to kind of be. Using this catalyst and the staff also seems to boost the power of dark sorceries. Now here is the biggest chunk of this whole thing, because they've given everybody these incredible tips on what's going on in the game, you know. And here's what I pulled from this. Okay. Now, this one says, let me look at this for a second before I get judgmental. There's A and there's C. Can the Isolin staff cast pyromancy and cast well, what is this suggesting here? It says faith adjusts the power of sorceries use this catalyst. Okay, so in other words, faith adjusts the power of the sorceries. Sorceries are supposed to be used in intelligence. Okay? But this makes the adjustment for casting sorceries. Okay, and it also seems like it boosts the powers of dark sorceries. See, this is the part where, in my mind, I say, now mind you, it is not the first item in the game that relates two types of elements together that connect to the dark. Now mind you, like I said, we were here doing the twin the twin demons. I'm gonna go to another location real quick because nobody's been summoning me here. And yes, I've had my sign down the whole time. Let's go to Feel Your Nose Rest and continue what we were talking about, because it started. Okay? But keep in mind that if they were only sorcerers and shamans, that means that they were a spectrum. There were two opposing type of energies. And if you read another description on another item, it mandates that as well. But what they talk about are their positions in a much more in a way, the things that make you go, what was going on. Anyway, before I go back up there to the Islet staff, I want you to see this Karthus chime, right? Goddess of Tears. Rare amongst, it says rare even amongst the Karim clerics. It says affected by intelligence. Again, faith is not using intelligence for miracles. So this is where the dark aspect would come out in the nature of the energy in which you're using. What do I mean by that? I mean that you cannot pull too far away. You can't do a polarizing effect on it, on its nature. You're gonna get something different out of it, and it's a natural thing, right? Look, a rare thing for a miracle catalyst, meaning to cast with intelligence rather than with faith, right? And also agreeable with miracles that lean towards the dark. Here we go again. See, a miracle that leans towards the dark. So you're twisting around and you're saying, in a place where I'm supposed to use, and let's say for instance, I'm doing sorcery, right? Like the witches. Let's go back up here for a second. Okay, let's get that staff out. I'm a witch, and I'm gonna use sorceries. Right? And sorceries is intelligent based, all intelligence. Okay, and then they say they were also shamans. Shamans, okay, shamans do not rely upon faith alone, but they do rely on a level of faith because they heal. Shamans heal, okay, and they're healers. And if you want to call them clerics, that would be not right. Clerics work more with the church, whereas shamans work more with the tribes, and they are not put on the front line like that to fight. Although there are, I'm pretty sure there are some that can do necromancy or do things that the church would be deplorable. But not all. We can't say all shamans are like that. Shamans are all different types and different groups depending on the tribes and the different people. In this case, we're talking about the witches of Izalith, and we're talking about how they used sorcery, and they also did things to heal in faith, right? So it says this staff, faith adjusts the powers of the sorceries. Okay, cast using this catalyst. Right? Now, before I go on to the next part, which you already know, it says it boosts the power of dark, right? Again, we're talking about something that they were doing, sorcery-based, which was intelligence. Sorcery, they're doing intelligence. But they decide, let's do it with faith. And that's how you know that faith with sorcery is gonna produce dark. It's gonna produce something. When we say dark sorceries, dark this or dark that, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about an age of dark that's coming, or are we talking about are we talking about how the very magic that they use will pull them into a dark realm or a dark space with that particular type of practice and magic? That's what they're using. You know, it's going to do that for them. I don't know. Hold on, let me wave at him real quick. Let me bow. Okay. Hold on. Let me just get my stuff together before we actually run out to this fight. Okay, he ran back out again. Trying to find this weapon so I can do my. They want chop chop. They want chop chop. I forgot I was supposed to get this particular type of blade so that I can heal, but I don't think it's. Well, it'll let me. I hit harder and it weighs less, but at least I'll do poison damage faster. And I can also put a thing on it, but the blade is so short. Like, they gave me a short weapon. So let's see. Okay, I know he's all the way down there. I gotta make my way down there, folks. So I apologize. I do prefer to use certain weapons. Maybe I'll use this. Just give me a second. Mind you, I wasn't fully prepared for this fight at all, by the way. This. Oh no, you're good. Oh, you almost got me. No! Almost got me. Oh my goodness. He don't like that. He's like, these mothers. This white bullet, this swiping, this swiping, this swiping. Kool-Aid going down the throat. You never know. I didn't equip the right stuff. I'm gonna have to wait. That sucks, man. That sucks. Alright, let's go. Oh my, you coward, yo. God, I could've. And then he's gonna go for the win. And that's gonna be the end of it. Alright, Andrew. I am never helping out another Andrew again. For the future Andrews out there, just know that there was this one Andrew that played this, and he ruined it for the rest of you guys. Alright, so I don't want to stay too much stuck on this. There's a lot to explain. However, when it comes down to it, right? Going back to this Darksoul thing, right? Now, so when people start to dive into a particular type of thing here, I went to magic for a minute there, but let's go back to where we were before. Hold on, let me switch up my, let me switch this up for a second, because I like using the two-handed axe, but there's blades that are, I would prefer to use curved swords. That's just who I am. That's just what I like. So that's the end of that. And that gives like bleed damage, but at least with these puppies I'll be able to actually do the healing. Alright, so what else we got here? I'm being summoned again. I hope it ain't this mother. I hope it ain't him. If he died just for me, then alright. I'll mark that as honorable because he was being a coward. But it looks like he wasn't going to make it through anyway. Nope, it's somebody else. That faggot made it. Alright, so let me go ahead and get my shit up. Let's see what else I gotta do. Oh shoot. I really do this. I'll do it this way first. Dirty rat. Got me good too. On the glitch. It's all good, baby. Oh, what the? Okay. Okay, that was me. I went too far. That was a close hit too. I thought I'd be able to finish him off. Nah. It's ever so often you get that chance towards the end. You know? It sounds good. Is that the way you're supposed to? Is that the way the resume is supposed to sound? Cover letter.
Well, yeah, you want to highlight what your experience is, what you bring to the table. Kind of like upselling your skills.
Yeah. I don't know, I just be feeling like people get these jobs and they get them for other reasons.
Yeah. So I'd be like sending these like nice cover letters. Well, this is the second one I'll send out. And I still won't hear back. I'm following the format that they say it should have. I'm still not getting up.
It makes me feel away. It makes me just want to just run out in the world and just demand what I want. Because following the rules don't work.
Some people, they just know how to talk themselves up.
I'm done
How
making
do you
excuses.
even- How do you even get to the point where you can talk yourself up and you even get a call back or an interview?
I don't know, but I just feel like it's different. It can be different, but they choose who they like. Start just being myself.
In some senses, like they have like the in already. Like someone that works there. Like, this person
Yeah, I like to believe that too. Yeah. many? Probably a couple more down at the bottom. Second plate. No, maybe I'll switch it. I'll switch it.